USA fencer Curtis McDowald hasn't been traveling the road to the Olympics by himself. His mother, Demetria, and his fencing mom, Lindsay, have been by his side.
I'll be competing in the men's Epee event, individual and team, at the Tokyo Olympic Games. Epee is one of the 3 weapons in fencing. There are 3 weapons, foil, saber, and epee. Each one has very different rules and different approaches.
Curtis's mother, Demetria, learned about fencing when her son was 12.
My mother introduced me to the sport. She took me to the Peter Westbrook Foundation.
Olympian Peter Westbrook brought fencing to kids in the New York City area.
I was like, oh, this is very interesting. So once I saw that, and I started doing some research on how could I get Curtis involved in it.
The Peter Westbrook Foundation, we've been operating for over 30 years. Our objective, our mission is to serve inner city kids. We introduce them to the sport of fencing. We show them how to overcome all obstacles and become great.
I just didn't want him to do the basic thing that they would say that a young black boy would do. I just thought it would just bring him more opportunities.
I have to give all credit to my mother for even having the creativity to find a sport like that and find the right environment for me to be in that world.
Curtis's mother, Demetria, is a deputy warden at Rikers Island Jail Complex in New York.
You know, a 5'2" woman working in one of the most dangerous jails in America. Yeah, she's incredibly strong, but also incredibly graceful as well.
Working at Rikers Island, it brought me a whole new perspective on what kind of mother I wanted to be, and I didn't want to see my child locked up.
She really helped give me the psychology I needed for the type of grueling competition it takes to really do a sport like this. Epee is really unique. You would hear people call it physical chess. It's a sport that's really so psychological, and your physical obviously comes into play, but not as much as your technical abilities and your mental skills.
So it was a struggle because I was working, of course, and the fencing equipment was expensive. Just one blade is like $250. So if Curtis broke a blade while he was, practicing, it's like, oh my God, he needs it for a competition. So, there were certain things that I had to just sacrifice.
With work and raising 2 boys on her own, Demetria found help through a fellow mother.
I am there to support Curtis. I didn't see this big dream because, I wasn't the fencing mom. Lindsay was the fencing mom. She understood the ins and outs of the fencing and things like that.
Lindsay Cotter is my second mother. My mom calls her my fencing mom. She was really the person my mother could trust to really watch after me because my mom was working like all day, 12-hour shifts. And that's not including the overtime.
I met Curtis through my son. It turned out we lived in the same neighborhood, and when my son joined PWF and he saw all the black and brown faces that he didn't see anywhere else, it added another dimension. We met because of fencing, but our relationship and the things that we've done together have all been about the person and not about the sport.
She was always there for Curtis. When you're at those competitions and, it's not a lot of black boys there, sometimes it becomes intimidating or whatever. So when you have people that's familiar, that's around and they're rooting for you, it just puts you at a little bit of ease.
I could cry. I can't even tell you how I'm proud of all of them because I know how hard it is. And I know how hard it is to actually not just have a dream, but to see that dream come to fruition and still be humble and to still understand that, I didn't get here by myself.
Lindsay really was integral to getting me to competitions, making sure I, ate at competitions, and I could not have been here without her. So to include my mom, it was like, well, I have to include Lindsay too. That's my other mom. So it's an honor and privilege to be part of Team USA, to be part of the strongest quadrant going to the Olympics, and being on that team, I think it's going to be one of the most incredible feelings. I'm really experiencing that.
Besides winning gold at the Olympic Games, Curtis has big dreams for his legacy.
I hope to get a glimpse at the personality behind the mask, if you will. because we're talking about winning teams, that you could see that some of the most unlikely things can happen from the most unlikely places. My mother had to put a lot of her own personal life on hold in order for myself and my brother to really succeed in life. And that's something that I'm internally grateful for, something I hope one day I could pay back and be able to show her how much that meant to me. That a kid from Jamaica, Queens, who went to some of the roughest schools, can now go to college and graduate and now be on the Olympic fencing team. I hope it's an inspiring moment where one day I could go back to my neighborhood and I hear kids saying stuff like, I want to play a pickup game of fencing, you know? The day I hear something like that, I know I left a true legacy and mark on the sport.